The first test I will be discussing is the Illinois Agility Test, which tests for agility. Agility is the ability to change direction quickly while at speed. The equipment needed for this test consists of a large open area, some cones, and a partner with a stopwatch. To set up this test, 4 cones must be placed in a rectangular shape, 10 metres in length and 5 metres in width, and 4 cones evenly spread down the middle. The performer will start by laying down, and when the partner says go, the performer must run the route which is shown as quickly as they can. Some advantages of this test are there is little cost of equipment, as the only bits of equipment needed are cones, which are cheap, and a stopwatch, which can be recorded on a phone. There is little time needed to conduct the test, as it only takes a matter of seconds, making the test quick and easy. The test is valid because the cone acts as points where the performer must change direction quickly, meaning it measures agility. The results can be seen as reliable because the person conducting the test makes sure they complete the full circuit whilst timing them with a stopwatch. On the other hand, some disadvantages are that the person conducting the test must have some sort of high skill level, as it must ensure the performer completes a full circuit whilst also timing them with a stopwatch. Although the results of the test can be seen as reliable, the skill level of the person conducting the test may factor into how reliable the results are. The next test is the Bronco test, which tests for aerobic endurance, which is the ability to work efficiently, supplying oxygen and nutrients to the working muscles during physical activity. The equipment needed for this test is at least 60 metres of space for running, some cones, and a partner with a stopwatch. To set up this test, you must place 1 set of cones at your starting position, then at 20 metre intervals up to 60 metres, meaning there will be cones 20, 40 and 60 metres. The performer will start at the first set of cones, and when your partner is ready with a stopwatch, they will say go, as the performer will run to the next set of cones at the 20 metre mark and then run back to the starting cones. After this, the performer will run to the 40 metre and back, and then finally the 60 metre and back. This is 1 repetition, and it should be completed a further 4 times, meaning a total of 5 reps. Some advantages of this test are that the cost of equipment is low, as only cones and a stopwatch are needed. It is a valid test as it tests your aerobic fitness over a long period. The results can be seen as reliable, as it just depends on the skill level of the conductor of the test. On the other hand, some disadvantages of the test is it requires at least 60 metres of open space. The conductor of the test must have some sort of high skill level, as they must ensure the test is completed properly. The test is time consuming, as it can take anywhere between 4 and 7 minutes, and the results could be seen as unreliable depending on the skill level of the person conducting the test. In my opinion, the best training method to improve a person's aerobic endurance is fartlek training, as it is a running technique that involves alternating between periods of faster and slower running. This means the performer will be running continuously at different paces, which will allow them to improve their overall aerobic endurance. This component of fitness is crucial for my chosen sport of football, because players must be able to run continuously for 90 minutes at a high/moderate intensity. Fartlek training is perfect for footballers, as loads of these fast to slow and slow to fast transitions of intensity occur during the duration of a match. The next test is the standing long jump test, which tests for power. Power is the combinations of speed and strength for maximum burst of energy in a short period of time. The equipment needed for this test consists of a 5 metre measuring tape, open space and a partner. To set up this test, place a measuring tape alongside where you are jumping and jump from the start of the measuring tape. You must jump as far as you can from the standing position without moving your feet when landing. Your partner measures how far you have jumped from the back of your foot and records it. Some advantages of this test is that there is little skill level required for the person conducting the test, as they only need to measure how far the performer has jumped from the back of their foot. Cost of equipment is cheap, as the only equipment needed is a tape measure. There is little time needed to conduct the test, as the jump only takes a couple of seconds. The results are reliable, as it is easy to administrate. On the other hand, some disadvantages of this test include the facility requirements, which could also be seen as an advantage as well. Another disadvantage, the test could also be seen as not valid, as it only tests for power and explosiveness of the legs and doesn't account for the rest of the body. In my opinion, the best training method to improve power is plyometric training, as it is a series of explosive bodyweight resistance exercises using the stretch shortening cycle of the muscle fibre to enhance physical capacity, such as increasing power. This component of fitness is important to my chosen sport of football, as it allows players to be explosive in their movements, which can enable them to beat their players in a 1v1. The next test is the 30 metre sprint test, which tests for speed, which is the maximum rate an individual is able to perform or cover a distance in a period of time. The equipment needed for this test is at least 30 metres of open space, 2 cones and a partner with a stopwatch. To set up this test, you must place one cone as your starting position and then another cone 30 metres away as the finishing point. When your partner is ready and says go, run from one cone to another at your maximum speed and your partner should record your time. Some advantages of this test are the cost of equipment is low as you only need cones and a stopwatch. Little time is needed for the test as it is only a 30-metre sprint. The test is valid as it measures your maximum speed of a performer over a distance. Also, the results are reliable. Some disadvantages of this test are that you need a facility of at least 30 metres of open space. The person conducting the test must have some sort of high skill level to press the stopwatch at the correct times as the performer starts and finishes. In my opinion, the best training method to improve a person's speed is parachute training, as the parachute acts as a resistance pulling back on you, which helps you to improve your overall speed. This component of fitness is vital for my chosen sport of football, as it allows me to beat players in 1v1s and allows me to quickly make recovery runs. The next test I'm going to be discussing is a sit and reach test, which tests for flexibility. Flexibility is the ability of the muscles, joints and soft tissues to move through a full range of motion without pain. The equipment needed for this test is a sit and reach box, a small open space and a partner. To set up the test, place the sit and reach box against a wall and stretch to warm up. Place your feet at the base of the box with straight legs and reach forward as far as you can and hold for 2 seconds whilst your partner records how far you got. Some advantages of this test is there are little facility requirements as the box is small. Little skill set needed for the conductor of the test as you only need to read how far the performer got. The test is valid as it tests for flexibility of the hamstrings and back, which are the 2 main body parts used for flexibility in sport. Results are reliable as the conductor has to read a simple measurement. On the other hand, the one disadvantage of this test is that the sit and reach test box is at least £100, making this test expensive. In my opinion, the best training method to improve flexibility is PNF training, as it is a stretching technique utilised to improve muscle elasticity. Flexibility is important for my chosen sport of football because it allows goalkeepers to stretch and dive to reach shots and also allows outfield players to stretch and slide tackles. The next test is a 1-minute sit-up test, which tests for muscular endurance, which is the ability to complete multiple muscle contractions without fatigue. For this test, you will need a small space with a flat surface and a partner with a timer. The performer must complete as many sit-ups as they can within a minute, whilst keeping their feet on the floor and their hands on the head. The partner will count how many sit-ups they complete until the minute is over and record their results. Some advantages of this test is that it can be done in a small space on the floor. There is little skill set needed for the conductor of the test as they only need to count the sit-ups and time it. There is no equipment needed for the test. There is little time needed for the test as it only lasts a minute. Results will be reliable as the conductor can easily count the amount of sit-ups completed. On the other hand, the disadvantage of the test is that it may not be valid as it only tests for muscular endurance of the abdominals, but there is much more muscles in the body. In my opinion, the best training method to improve muscular endurance is circuit training, as it involves a full body workout that involves performing a series of exercises that target different muscle groups with little rest in between. Muscular endurance is important for my chosen sport of football because the muscles must be able to withstand fatigue for long periods of time. The next test is the body composition test, which analyses your body and tells you your BMI, weight, body water, muscle mass, and much more. The equipment you need for this test is body fat scales and the necessary app to see your results. To perform this test, you will need to take your shoes off and step onto the scales. It will record your body composition and upload it to the app where you can access them. Some advantages of this test includes there is little space needed as the scales are small. There is no skill set needed for the conductor as they only have to read the scales. The test is quick as the scales take a matter of seconds. The test is valid because the app allows you to see all of your body stats. On the other hand, some disadvantages of this test that it is quite expensive and the results may not be fully reliable as the scales may not be 100% accurate. The next test is the hand grip dynamometer test and it tests for strength, which is the ability of a muscle to exert a force against a resistance. The equipment needed for this test is a hand grip dynamometer and a small open space. Performers will need to set the dynamometer to 0 as shown in the video and then in a top to bottom motion by your side squeeze as hard as you can. You will then record your score and repeat for the other hand. Some advantages of this test is there are no facility requirements as there is little space needed. There is little skill needed for the person conducting the test as they only have to read the score on the hand grip dynamometer. Little time needed as a test as it takes a matter of seconds. The test is valid as the performer is exerting their maximum force to overcome a resistance. On the other hand, the disadvantage of this test is that it's expensive, as the device costs a minimum of £20, and the results could be seen as unreliable as it only tests for the strength of the arm instead of the whole body. In my opinion, the best training method to improve strength is weight training, as it is a type of exercise that uses resistance to build strength, size and endurance. Strength is crucial for my chosen sport of football because it allows players to gain an advantage against other players, as they can go and out-strength them off the ball. And finally, to finish the video, the final test is a ruler drop test, and it tests for reaction time. Reaction time is how quickly the body can react to a stimulus. For this test, all you will need is a 30cm ruler and a partner. To complete it, you have your partner to hold the ruler from the 0cm mark directly above your own hand, as shown in the video. Your partner will randomly drop the ruler and you must catch it between your index finger and thumb as quickly as possible and hold it there for your partner to record your result. The advantages of this test is there is little space needed, there is little skill set needed for the conductor of the test, as they only need to read the measurement. The test is cheap as it only requires a ruler. There is little time needed as the test takes a matter of seconds. The test is valid as the ruler can be dropped from anywhere, which mirrors a real life scenario. And finally, the results will be reliable as the ruler has measurements on it.